Peace and love. This is Brother Faheem, and you're now tuned in to the Lead with Logic podcast. You know the vibes. Peace. Welcome back. I'm Brother Faheem, and I am your most gracious and humble host of the Lead with Logic podcast. And it's another wonderful Monday. And listen, life is always moving at such an ultramagnetic pace that I try to keep my boots laced so that I can win this race, y'all. Hopefully, y'all winning the race too. So much going on. Like Tupac said, man, so much drama in the world. No, that was Big Sight. So much drama in the world, people. Can't nobody feel your pain. A lot going on. Wherever you are, wherever you're at, man, I appreciate you, Black. Thank you, man. What I want y'all to do is send it out. If you're watching it live, if you're watching the replay, send this out, repost it. Send it out, repost it to your people. Let them know what we got going on because we are going strong. Yeah, the Lead with Logic podcast is happening right now, as I usually do around this time. I normally have to get some people in here. Let me do some house cleaning real quick, party people. Party people. Let's do some housekeeping. Party people. Bambata is getting so funky now. Hit me. Yeah, just get on down. Christmas Eve, huh? Christmas Eve. December 24th of 2024. Wow. 24. Such an eventful time. So much things going on. Oh, you know what? I'm tripping. This is the 23rd. Look at me, man. Where have I been? I keep singing this sad song. Sad songs is all I know. Not really, but peace, whoever that is. Peace. Welcome to the space. Hey, listen, you are welcome to please comment in the comment section. Please share it out wherever you at, wherever you are, whether you are chilling in your living room or in your car. Hey, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. We're gonna get ready in just one quick second, man. I'm just doing a couple of housekeeping things. We're getting ready to talk about some good stuff. The pivot, society's pivoting. It's a lot going on, from the shooting of the United Healthcare CEO to the acquittal of Daniel Perry on the subway in NYC. Killed our brother. Who was just asking for food. He was begging for food, and it was aided. They aided in killing that brother. I don't know if y'all know that. He wasn't the only one. He just was the one that applied the pressure, cut the oxygen off of our brother's neck. But it was people holding his hands. Peace. Yeah, welcome on in. And we also go over Fat Joe, because this is something that's been happening for a minute, right? Fat Joe made some statements, but he upped them this time. Not only did he mention what's going on, Chris. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Hey, salute, King. Salute, salute, soldier. Not only did Fat Joe mention hip hop, he also mentioned FBAs. That was interesting to me. That was super interesting because this is a long going conversation. This is a continuity. This isn't new, y'all. This isn't new. We're hearing about this hip hop thing, and it's being taken out of context, right? I think people's frustration and angst are being taken extremely out of context, right? At least the people that I listen to, the people that I keep my ear out for, it's not like anyone's hating on any culture. It's like, come on, man. Objectivity and facts equal truth. Imagination and interpretation equal perception. And a lot of things can come from our perception, but that doesn't mean it's right, though, right? It doesn't. And truth doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. Yeah, it doesn't matter how you feel. So I'm just doing some housekeeping. Hopefully, you guys are having a good holiday season. Welcome on in. I implore you to please stay. Welcome on in. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hopefully, the start of your week has been great, or it could be just you chilling because I know this is that time of year where people relax and kick back, right? So hopefully, you guys are settling in. Yeah, we got a whole bunch to talk about, a whole bunch to go over, whole bunch, whole bunch. I'm just like I said, sending out some notifications, letting the people know where they can find the kid. And yeah, hopefully wherever you are though, it's nice and cozy. If it's cold outside, hopefully it's warm inside, right? You got your feet next to the fire and you are hugged up with a loved one. Y'all are counting y'all's blessings. That's if you celebrate the holidays. Whether you celebrate them or observe them or whatever you do, man. I just, you know, hopefully you safe and you keeping your money in your pocket, right? Because the mortgage is due on the first. So you gotta uh go past those toys or whatever it is you're doing. Hopefully you guys celebrate a little Kwanzaa, right? Hopefully you guys, you know, or look into alternative. Y'all give me a second. Y'all look into alternative holidays or look around the globe. It's good to look around the world and see what people do around this time. Or really, it's good to do that generally. In general, excuse me. It's good to do that in general, but you can take this time. It's the opportune time for you to look and see what other cultures are doing because it might have a different significance and it might have a deeper meaning for you, right? It might mean something other than just feeding the economy or giving, giving, giving. It might be something that can feed you spiritually and you can internalize, internalize, internalize. So it's good, man, to explore, man, to explore and see what other civilizations and other cultures did. Ice cold. Jules got one drop. Think OJ. What's going on? Ice cold. I see you, big bro. I knew you was gonna be in the place to be. Yes, sir. I knew you was gonna be in the place to be. I love it. I love it. I'm just inviting the people. Ice. You know how it goes. Inviting the people. Just inviting the people. It's been a hectic week. Yeah, man. It's been a hectic week for me, bro. It's been eventful. It's been something else. Yeah, it's been something else, man. Y'all share this out. It's three of y'all. Let's get three more. Y'all share this with three people that y'all know that might be interested in hearing some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Y'all share this out. Share this right on out. Share it out. Let's get some more people out. Let me see. I'm gonna put this right here. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Let's see what we can do here. Let's get the people, the party people. See where are they? Let's see. Let's tell the people. Okay, we got some more people coming in. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I'm just pulling some more people in. It's always the more the merrier. You dig? It's always the more the merrier. So I'm just trying to get it out there, get the message out there, man. The channel has been exploding. Things have been going well. Uh, Truth is always going to be in fashion. It's always going to be in style. Always, people love to wear the truth. At least the older we get. My uncle Ice, my big brother Ice told me it gets greater later, and he wasn't lying. It does get greater later in all aspects of life, whatever it is, whether it's your finances, whether it's your career, whether it's your love life, whatever it is, man. Especially that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. People have a greater and a deeper appreciation for it, and so what can I say, man? I'm just super duper thankful. We got gear. Man, make sure y'all go over to leadwithlogic7.com. Again, that's Lead with Logic 7. You can get some nice merch. I'm always rocking my merch. We got the new hats, Lead with Logic. Check me out. Check me out. It's always good to keep Lead with Logic. It's good to keep logic on the brain. Keep logic on the brain. Always keep that logic on the brain. Keep the logic on the brain. Lead with Logic 7. Yeah, Lead with Logic 7. Put that in your stocking. It's a good stocking stuffer. Get you shot with the brother man before you go and get the money to the other man. You dig? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Let me send a couple more out and we're gonna get started. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we are going to get started. People get ready because a change is coming. Man, the end of the year is already here. End of the year is already here, man. And it went by so fast. It seemed like as these years go by, they speed up, man. It speeds up. Goodness gracious, it speeds up. It's like, wow, where does the time go? You really have to focus in. The game, the game speeds up as the quarters go by. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it and savoring that sweet flavor of life. I'm gonna send a couple more of these out so I can get started. I can get started. My people. My people, my people. My people, my people. Who is that? See, I know we got Chris. We got Ice. It's two more people on there. If y'all want to tell me who you are, let me know. Let me know that you understand. Like my man Eddie Kane said, let me know that you understand. Let me know that you understand. All right, all right. Let's get started. Let's get started here. Let's get it started. All right. Yes, yes, yes. December the 23rd, 2024. uh Christmas Eve, the eve of Christmas Eve, right? And for all of y'all who are celebrating Christmas, hey, happy holidays, man. Merry Christmas. Hopefully again that you guys are getting to really spend that good time with your family. You're getting ready to, go into the new year anew or stronger than ever. You're using this as a time to educate, opportunities for education and enlightenment, all those good things, man. And hopefully you guys, what's going on? Rod, what's going on, big dog? Salute, King. I see you. I see you, brother. Hopefully, man, everybody is going into this thing looking to be greater uh, than they were this last year, this last 365 days. So, man, what has been going on in the world? What has been going on? Quite a few things, quite a few. So much, so much. If we go backwards, from things that I've been hearing about, right? Fat Joe, he made some statements about hip hop that really reverberated all around. It's the shot heard around the hip hop world, and it's not the first shot because earlier in the year, I want to say it was earlier. KRS One made some statements. I'm gonna play him. He made some statements about hip hop and its origins. Right? He made some statements about hip hop and its origins, and uh, it was a little bit of confusion as to how hip hop began, and it caused little to say it caused different cultural icons to step up and speak out, and it caused a rift and some division and some divisiveness. So that's one thing. Next thing is, Daniel Perry, the guy who put the brother in the chokehold, who was mentally insane. Who, excuse me, he wasn't mentally insane. He was mentally unstable, and he was homeless on the train, begging for food, and he was killed. And when he went to trial, to our surprise, the guy was acquitted. Now that was something different because we witnessed George Floyd be killed, and we kind of said, well, that was a police officer who did that. A police officer killed a man right before our eyes. And so that brought us a little bit of, people could lean back on that, right? Because people aren't ready to go to war with the law enforcement. Not today, right? In decades and eras past, you had the Panthers, you had the Deacons for Defense, you had militias, black militias. Hell, you even had, in fact, that was here in Georgia, the Not Fucking Around crew, led by Brother Jay. He was an armed militia. He was leading those brothers all over the place. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout yourself out. If you come in, I see 3 new people. Y'all could be recurring. Shout yourself out. Say what up, what it is, what's popping. But in fact, they had got organized. They had gotten together, and then something happened with Brother Jay. I want to say he got arrested, and it kind of fizzled away. But and even before that, it was the United Healthcare CEO. He gets killed, and it was awful. I mean, it was totally awful. I want to start the show out officially like this. I had a discussion with a good brother of mine. And I love my brother very much. And man, we were, going over current events. A lot of my conversations with my brothers, with you all, we talk about family. We talk about what's going on with what we have going as far as finances. And we obviously talk about current events, right? Whether it's politics, whether it's, you know, uh, taxes, whatever, you know, safety. This would fall up under the safety thing, right? That national safety. And man, brother was like, yeah, this is something else. This guy being killed, it almost could be a backlash to, you know, what's going on in the healthcare field and the insurance. A lot of things happen in the healthcare field that are unfair and that would lead people or cause people to act out. And I said, yeah, absolutely. That is absolutely correct. People now act out because of how insurance is structured and how it's set up. You know, you pay for one thing, but they cover another, right? It's almost like a warranty with a car. You get a bumper to bumper warranty only to go to the dealership when something breaks down and them to tell you, hey, that's not covered in the warranty. Well, that wreaks havoc on a family that may not can afford that warranty to begin with. And then for you to come and say you can't cover an item that really hits hard and it goes within the budget. And so when you're talking about healthcare expenses, insurance, something that we pay into, that's almost, no, it's not almost, it is an investment. Insurance is an investment. My father thought that insurance was the rest his soul. He thought that insurance was the biggest ripoff in America because you pay all of this money into this thing. And when something transpires, there's no guarantee that they'll cover the thing that you paid the money into. And so our discussion, I'll stop there with our discussion. I won't go into too deep what we discussed, but that discussion sparked my idea to uphold this podcast and really discuss it, in depth, go into it. And so I said, you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's get into that. So And again, y'all know what I do here, man. I take the mundane, the controversial, the sensational, and through objective data, books, literature, peer-reviewed journals, articles, websites, documentaries, documentary clips. I now teach. I now teach uh, critical thought, critical analysis, analytical research, so that we can extract the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and live life in 3D, y'all, and enhance our enlightenment. Right? That's what's missing. That's what we want for ourselves. That's what we want for our children. We want to be able to have them think critically in a divine, meaning a right and exact way, not something in the sky spooky, but right and exact. That's divinity. And leading with logic, to lead with logic helps you do that. And so what I try to do is let the people see where I'm getting this data from so that you can do this research yourself. You can do this homework yourself and come to your own conclusion, or you can deduce your perspective, and it be more intelligent and more enlightened. Slain. So I'm gonna put this up. I'm gonna share this with you guys, like I always do. All right. Let's see. What's the first article we're gonna go over? It won't be too many. So this was December the 11th. United Health Group says slain CEO Brian Thompson was one of the good guys. Why would they even need to say that, right? The shooting thrust the nation's healthcare industry into the spotlight. I did a bill where I discussed the holy trinity of capitalism. What is the holy trinity of capitalism? Well, you're going to have to go back and watch it. But I'll tell you this. I'll give you the titles. You have the food industry, you have the healthcare industry, and you have the pharmaceutical industry. When you think about those three industries and how they contribute to your overall well-being, or your overall ill-being, you understand why it's a holy trinity, right? Because you might pay a low fee for with any, well, at least with the food, but you pay a high premium. You pay a high cost on the back end. So that's what this is saying. United Health Group says slain CEO Brian Thompson was one of the good guys. A week after United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed in New York, the health insurance parent company is praising him as one of the good guys and seeking to both console employees and reassure them that work makes a difference. In a message to the company's nearly 400,000 employees, Andrew Whitty, CEO of United Health Group, United Healthcare's parent company, confirmed Thompson was laid to rest on Monday and that colleagues gathered in Minnesota on Tuesday for a memorial. I know this has been extraordinarily difficult week. This has been an extraordinarily difficult week, Whitty said in the letter obtained by ABC News. Our company remains in a state of mourning. Referred to Thompson 50, who had led the world's largest health insurance since 2021. Whitty said it was a life lived to the absolute fullest and a life that helped make a profoundly positive impact on the lives of so many people. People never saw, people he never saw, people he never met, people who never knew him, but people Brian cared so deeply about. He added, Brian was one of the good guys. He was certainly one of the smartest guys. I think he was one of the best guys. I'm going to miss him, and I am incredibly proud to call him my friend. So here it is. They're telling you a little bit about the character of this brother who was killed, this person. Thompson's killing thrust the nation's healthcare industry into the spotlight. When suspect Luigi Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania earlier this week, investigators discovered he had writings with him that criticized healthcare companies. A bulletin from the New York Police Department warned of heightened risk to healthcare executives. So now they're saying all of y'all are in danger now. In the wake of the shooting, citing social media posts that expressed frustration with the health insurance industry and celebrated Thompson's death. Whitty's letter to employees said the best way to remember Thompson is to carry on his legacy. Isn't that the best way to remember anybody that we love? Continuing to do right by the people who've entrusted us with their care and those who are counting on us to take care of their loved ones. The letter added, we owe it to Brian to make good on our promise to make healthcare work better for everybody in every way. That's the guy, Luigi Mangione. And when they caught him, he was in a McDonald's. He had the gun. There was a manifesto. He wasn't running, so to speak. He wasn't like ducking and dodging. This is a Ivy League uh, educated person. This is not the standard profile, what they would think of as a killer, a mass murderer, or somebody who would do something as evil and sinister as this, right? I love it in America. We have these stereotypes of what criminals and what crime figures and what people who engage in these atrocious and terrorizing acts, what they look like. And when we see what the truth actually is, it's always ground shaking and it's always perspective shattering. So yeah, this is Luigi Mangione right here, the brother who, or the person who killed the United Healthcare CEO. Whitty's letter also shared a message of support from people who shared their sympathies and describe how United Healthcare had helped them. He said the company has received thousands of phone calls, text messages, comments, and emails offering condolences and gratitude. I am super proud to be part of an organization that does so much good for so many, and to have the opportunity to work alongside some of the most compassionate people, the most compassionate, most dedicated, and truly brilliant people in healthcare. What he said. I hope you feel that too. I'm gonna go up here just for a second and go to this. It might not share now. I want to see something. Okay. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to this next one. You gotta love the internet because now it shows this article, right, leads to another article. Now we're gonna go into the other article before we move, that deals with the healthcare industry and some of those frustrations, right? Because you see what they said. Executives are now in danger of being killed themselves. They're not gonna stop. So this is not necessarily an attack against a man. This is an attack against a system. And the men are the low-hanging fruit, right? United Healthcare CEO's murder sparks widespread criticism of U.S. healthcare industry. Many Americans face rising healthcare costs and lack of access, research shows. Wow. The fatal shooting of the healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, along with the alleged grievances of the suspect charged in his murder, have thrust the country's healthcare industry into the spotlight. At the time of his arrest, suspect Luigi Mangione reported had with him writings that criticized companies in the healthcare industry, the U.S. healthcare industry, for being the most expensive in the world, according to law enforcement. Wow. The writer also allegedly suggests that the U.S. continuously ranks lower than other developed nations in life expectancy, reportedly stating they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. The events surrounding Thompson's murder have spurred a national conversation about the rising cost for some inaccessibility of healthcare, which has been a long-standing concern for Americans. The U.S. on average spends twice as much or more per person on healthcare per capita than some comparable high-income countries, according to KFE, a nonprofit health policy research, polling, and news organization. Right? Health costs have generally grown faster than inflation, according to researchers, contributing to the struggles faced by many Americans to afford health care and drugs, even with insurance. This is crazy. Wow, people have insurance and still aren't getting adequate access. It's almost like the working poor. It's like those people who are working full time just to get welfare, just to get food stamps, just to get government aid. What is happening here, right? That's why I said the holy trinity of capitalism. I'm gonna speak on this in just a second. One 2019 study published in Health Affairs found that despite spending more on average healthcare, Americans aren't getting more or better care than residents in other developed countries. That's crazy. I remember when a few years back, do y'all remember when they sued the VA? It was a big VA. You can put it in the comments. It was a big, big VA scandal. They were lying. They were doing they did an audit and they found that they were saying that they were treating veterans when they weren't. They were saying that veterans were getting these services and they didn't. And it was like horrible. And I remember the talk. I remember the conversations that surrounded that. And I said, wow, this is crazy. How could America treat its veterans, its military wing, its protectors, right? Its enforcers? How could they treat them this way? How could they reward them with giving their lives, sacrificing their families and their safety by coming home and only to abuse them? Well, what this health affairs is saying, what this research is saying, not what Luigi Mangione, he merely used that as a catalyst and motivation to do what he did, right? Not to condone it, because killing a person is wrong. It's the system that he truly had a problem with. But it's something even deeper, right? And even more problematic on a systemic level when health affairs, different agencies are saying the price of healthcare is rising, but the services are lowering. And people who have fully covered, who have coverage, are still having problems meeting their premiums. This makes people very irate. This makes people very bellicose and belligerent, right? When you have your grandmother who can't get aid and services, but yet she has insurance. It reminds me of that movie, and I think I mentioned this. The movie Crash. If you watch Crash, Matt Dillon and Loretta Devine's character, they're at it because she's a representative for the insurance company. His father is suffering with some kind of URI, and he's frustrated because he has to get up in the morning and help his father go to the restroom, right? And it's just it's a rough situation. And Loretta Devine, when he calls her, they're at it, it's contentious, and she's saying, listen, man, I'm only doing my job. This is the healthcare that you signed up for. This is the system that you agreed to buy into. What do you want me to do? And on a lot of levels, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. It's not necessarily one person. Killing that CEO is not going to change anything, right? Killing 10 killing 10 CEOs is not going to do anything. Now, it has to be a complete overhaul of a system. Capitalism is crushing people, all American people, right? Not just one group, but all groups. And this is what this is proving. This is how you analyze. This is how you interpret this. I will say this though. I read where anesthesia cost the day after when they found out about the shooting, anesthesia cost insurance now paid for it. My wife was telling me how they didn't cover anesthesia. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, really? They don't cover anesthesia for a surgery? They know. I don't know anything about anesthesia. I don't know how much I'm gonna have of it, but it's something that in a major surgery, I'm gonna absolutely need. Hell, even if it's local anesthesia, if you have to go up under, you're gonna need anesthesia. So for them to not include that in your insurance, it's very shady and shisty. So about half of U.S. adults said it is hard to afford health care costs, according to KFF study, forcing some to skip or postpone needed care. 1 in 4 adults said that they have skipped or held off on health care they needed because of the price tag. KFF reported of the uninsured adults surveyed, 61% said they have gone without needed care because of the cost. That's horrible. See, people, we have a lot to say about third world countries, brothers and sisters. We have a lot of criticism, right? We look down, we condemn, we shake our heads at, but look at what's happening right here in the United States. Look at what our own government is doing. Look at how privatization is causing people to be out of reach. They cannot even get health care, the basic human qualities. But we would, as a country, we would boast that we are the number one. We are the best. We love our citizens. We take care of our citizens. But the numbers and the studies and the research say something totally different. It says something starkly and vastly different. 1 in 4 KFF study also found that about 4 in 10 U.S. adults reported having medical or dental debt, which translates to an estimated 100 million adults. About 1 in 5 said they might never be able to pay off their debt. And about 1 in 7 say they have been denied access to a hospital, doctor, or other provider because of those unpaid bills. Um, So he was a victim twice. He was a victim twice. He was a victim to a capitalist system that exploits people and enrages them and now causes them to rise up. And he was also a victim of this guy because this guy was one of those people, right? He had seen a lot. Again, not condoning, just understanding, doing the knowledge, uh, 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 and coming to an understanding, bridging that, getting the wisdom, getting the knowledge, wisdom, and bridging it with that understanding. So this brother was he was a victim. Yeah, he was a victim twice. Folks are happy when they do have. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go back up one. Kay Pastena, the vice president of at KFF and director of the Patient and Consumer Protections Program, told ABC News, there's a laundry list of frustrations Americans face in the country's healthcare system. Folks are happy when they do have coverage, and then the expectation is when they need it, it'll be there for them. You damn real. We pay all that money. It better be there. She said while explaining that isn't always the case. She lists examples like when patients are told their prescribed care isn't medically necessary or are denied coverage, when there are more out-of-pocket costs than expected, or when care they needed isn't covered by insurance. There we go. An analysis of healthcare.gov data found that roughly 17 of in-network claims were denied by insurers in 2021. That means claims that people have been told by right contractually by law they were supposed to have covered were not. Now, what were these claims? How much pain did these claims cause? And now you understand the mind, how a mind could go off the deep end, how a mind could go off the edge like that if you're seeing this type of suffering and we're buying into a system that we do not control, that seems not to honor us and it seems to only exploit us. Listen, it's 80 of y'all in here. Welcome, welcome. Please retweet the space, repost the space 8 times. If you're on Facebook, repost it to 80 of your friends, right? If you're on YouTube, get the link and repost it to 8 people. If I sent this to you, hey, repost it. Send it to 8 people, each of y'all, so we can get some more people in here. If you are on X, repost it 8 times, right? Christina adds, some patients are stuck with extremely high deductibles and they may not be able to use enough for any care to be covered by insurance. Wow. The system is so complicated for most people. We don't have the time or the information that we need to get our problems addressed. Pestana said, U.S. adults owe at least $220 billion in medical debt, according to one analysis of survey of income and program participation data. Meanwhile, insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies have racked up billions of profits annually. That's what I said, y'all. It's the holy trinity of the capitalism. It's the food industry, the healthcare industry, and the pharmaceutical industry. That is why it is super duper vital and critical. I'm going to take this down. It's super duper vital and critical that you guys learn how to eat to live. It starts with what you put in your stomach. Let your vegetation be your medication. Let your food be your medicine before your medicine becomes your food. And we see from the numbers, we see from the research and analysis. And when you get to the point where you need medical and health care, it might not be a just and warranted experience that you have. So I'm going to stop sharing right there and just say, hey, that's unfortunate that that brother lost his life in the way that he did. And one says, now who's to blame? Right? Obviously, the Mangione fella is going to do some time if they don't give him the death penalty. But who's to say that this won't happen again? And I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping that it doesn't. But as long as injustice exists and the masses of the people are crying out and the frustration levels are rising, anything is possible, brothers and sisters. Anything is possible. So yeah, uh, we send our condolences to this brother's family, the CEO. So the next thing, Jordan, Daniel Perry. Daniel Perry. He's on the train. And it's a guy, on there. I'm gonna pull it up so we can read what happens. And he was a veteran, by the way. Veteran Daniel Penny. Excuse me, Daniel Penny. I put Perry. Daniel Penny acquitted in NYC subway chokehold. Will join Trump's suite at football game. Wow. That's wild. That is wild. So let's look and see what the AP reported. What the AP reported. Veteran Daniel Penny acquitted in NYC. Subway Choco will join Trump's suite at football game. So this is by the AP News. This is politics. I'm trying to get y'all a day. Okay, December the 13th, 2024, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, AP. Daniel Penny, a military veteran who choked an agitated New York subway rider and was acquitted of homicide this week, has been invited by Vice President-elect J.D. Vance to join Donald Trump's suite at the Army-Navy football game on Saturday. The Marine veteran was cleared of criminally negligent homicide in Jordan Neely's 2023 death. A more serious manslaughter charge was dismissed last week. Vance said Penny, 26, accepted his invitation to join the president-elect and him at the game. Daniel's a good guy. And New York's mob district attorney tried to ruin his life for having a backbone, Vance said in a post on X. I'm grateful he accepted my invitation and hope he's able to have fun and appreciate how much his fellow citizens admire his courage. You know, when you're in a position of leadership, you have a duty and an obligation to be as, what's the word? To be as compassionate when there's death. You have to be able to read the people. You have to be able to read the temperature of the people. It's just like a great speaker can read the room. He's not gonna or she's not gonna speak to a group of kindergartners in the same way he would speak or she would speak to a bunch of candidates for their PhDs, right? It's gonna be a very different temperature. It's gonna be a very different tone. It's gonna be a very different talk. And so, as a leader of anything, anywhere, you have to understand there are people that cling to your every word. And when you say certain things, uh, you're going to evoke emotion in the people. You're going to evoke emotion in the people. I'm not saying that people can now use leaders' words to go out and do harm, but I am saying that as a leader, could be the difference between allegiance and an enemy. So we have to be mindful of that. And maybe he has more facts that I don't. I'll put that out into the atmosphere as well. The case sparked national debate with some hailing Penny as a hero for attempting to subdue a man he considered a menace. He considered a menace to public safety, and others seeing him as a white vigilante who choked a black man to death. Political figures on the right have defended Penny since he was charged for the death in May 2023. Entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, who ran for the GOP presidential nomination and was tapped by Trump last month to lead an effort along with billionaire Elon Musk to cut government spending, donated money to his illegal defense fund. Hey, another thing I want y'all to look at when y'all reading, you can clearly tell who's reading what affiliation that people have, because framework, how stories are framed, is going to again be the difference between how you think about the story, what you think, what you gather from the story. Them putting in there Elon Musk cutting government spending, donating money to his defense fund, that clearly sways some of the people to the right, like, oh, this guy's doing a lot, he's helping out, right? After the acquittal, Penny gave an extensive interview to Fox News and declared he's not a confrontational person. He told the network that he wouldn't have been able to live with the guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do. I'll take a million court appearances and people call me names and people hate me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed, Penny said. Trump was not referred to Trump has not referred to the case publicly recently, but last year he told the messenger that he thought Penny and other people on the subway were in great danger. Some New Yorkers protested the trial outcome this week, holding signs and chanting Jordan Neely's name in a Manhattan square. Vance, who served in the Marine Corps, so he's a fellow Marine, included in Iraq, said this week that justice was done in this case and Penny never should have been prosecuted. Penny has been hailed a hero by many, but Neely's death also divided the city as residents grapple with how to respond to mental health crises threatening public safety. Let me say this. I remember when I first came to Georgia, there was an incident where a brother who was in the Air Force, I was in the Air Force, he was at his apartment and he was in the nude. He was walking around the apartment in the nude. And of course, someone called, the law and said, hey, there's a man out here and he's in the nude and he's acting very strange and weird. Can you guys come out? And they responded to the call and they came out and they didn't shoot him in the leg. They didn't stun gun or tase him. They didn't mace him to neutralize him. They killed him. Why do I bring that up? Because in this country, there seems to be a huge, huge issue with mentally ill people, right? Especially mentally ill Black men. That's what I've seen. And so there's no compassion, there's no empathy when they are engaged. And it now results in a lot of unnecessary mourning and grieving and death. And here it is, another instance where a mentally ill person, another systemic problem that has boiled over, right? America has an issue with mental health. They have no resolve for it yet. And I understand it. When you read about the early 19th century or the early 1900s, I said 19th century, I should have said 20th century. In the early 1900s, what they were doing was they were putting people in mental asylums unjustly. If you were a political prisoner, i.e., Malcolm X's mother, Louise Little, she was not only put in a mental hospital because she was mentally unstable, she was a Garveyite and she was an active worker and she was brilliant. So they were using that as grounds to put people in mental asylums. They would experiment on these people, right? They would harm these people. And so what happened was it became something unjust and they could not do that anymore. They could not just put people arbitrarily against their will in these asylums. They had to release them. Now, the problem with that is now a lot of people who might actually who do actually need to be committed, as long as they're not a harm to themselves or others, right? That's what the court deems as fit to be out on the street. They just put them out on the street. And so until something happens where they threaten the life of another, they threaten the life of themselves or others, they really don't get a lot of aid. And a lot of those people can be veterans. A lot of the people in your communities, on your streets, in those alleys, on Skid Row, in Chicago, back home in Chicago, it was on the red line, right off of 95th, right down the street from Chicago State. It's a red line right there, and you go out there any time of day, and you always see people who are mentally ill talking to themselves, walking around, just wandering, floating, drifting. So it's gone from one extreme to the next. But my point is, there needs to be a resolve. There needs to be help for mentally unstable people. And if there's not help for them, at least let's not kill them, right? Let's at least neutralize them. Because many times, if they're not armed, why are you shooting to kill? Aren't you supposed to meet the force with equal force? But again, I understand it. When they go to court, they say, I fear for my life. And they totally get off. That's it. That's all. That's what many of them say. Pastor said Neely hadn't touched anyone but had expressed willingness to die, go to jail, or even to kill. The former street performer was homeless, had schizophrenia, and had synthetic marijuana in his system. He had been convicted of assaulting people at subway stations. So he did have a history of assaulting people. Yeah, he did. He had a history of assaulting people. But necessarily does that warrant killing him? Right? Does that warrant killing him? Again, I think that people who are reasonable and rational would say, okay, if you were scared, it's one thing to prohibit him for that time, but to choke him out, that's unjust, right? Because he didn't kill anybody. Even even him assaulting people, that doesn't mean that they're dead. And listen, when you look up the technical definition of assault, if I threaten y'all, that's assault. If I get in your space and threaten you, that's assault. The battery is when I put my hands on you, when fist or foot hits flesh, right? That's the battery. The assault is what happens before. I say that to say, just because he assaulted people, I don't know. He could have gotten physical. He could have harmed people. But assault is defined as just making a threat. That could have been it too, because we see here he didn't hurt, he hadn't touched anyone, but he had expressed the willingness to die or to go to jail or to even kill. So he had verbally, by law, assaulted someone, you know. But that's wild. That is very wild. It was hard for me to watch. It was hard for me to watch George Floyd. A man put his foot on George Floyd's, neck for 9 minutes. That was rough. That was very rough for me. I'm not sure I could have watched a man choke another brother out like that. It's one thing to subdue him and to neutralize him as a threat, because now he has said, hey, I am going to harm someone, right? That's one thing. But to kill him, right? That's crazy. That is crazy. So again, rest in peace to I want to say his name was Jordan Neely. And hopefully that is something that we will resolve in this country as far as mental health and getting people the proper help that they need. And lastly, what I was going to go into, what I want to talk about is Fat Joe. Fat Joe and this whole FBA hip hop thing. Some of y'all might be saying, why is this even a topic, Faheem? Why are we talking about an entertainer? He ain't nobody. What does he have to do with Fat Joe? Who is that? The undergird of his statements really are bigger than Fat Joe. If you deal with anyone from another country, my wife is Liberian. So it puts me around people who are oftentimes from other countries, right? From different parts of the diaspora, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Liberia, whether it's Sierra Leone, whether it's Ghana, wherever it is, I get to interact with these people, right? And I've spoken about this before. Those of you who have been following me since I've been on audio, since I've been on Spotify, shout out to y'all for that. My day ones, my A1 from day ones. I did maybe like 2 years ago. I did a show where I discussed an interaction I had with a young lady who had a very broad and general perspective of African American people. The ex people, or the black Twitter people, would have called her a tether. That was what her behavior denoted, that she was a tether. And typical stuff, right? People making broad accusations and allegations of behavior, right? Whenever a person assigns a broad or a general behavior to a specific group, they're in the wrong because people are monolithic. Black people are no different. People from anywhere are no different. People have different degrees of perspective, personas, perspective, philosophies, and paradigms. It just differs. It does. Everybody doesn't think the same. And so it gets very elementary, right? Trying to speak to someone when they're coming from that place. It lets me know right away that they're not leading with logic. It lets me know that they've probably had an experience with a person like myself that was unfavorable, that had a lasting impression that maybe went a little bit deeper than the skin. And it also lets me know that there's much room for growth inside of their cranium. But the undergird is the barrier between cultures. That's the undergird. When you see all of this FBA, uh, STT, when you see all of these factions around the diaspora now beginning to pop up and become more prominent, you know, the subject is, hip hop or FBA, right? But objectively, it's a miscommunication cross culturally, right? That's what's really going on. That's really what you're seeing. That's really what you're seeing because facts are facts, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. And like the great mother queen Shahrazad Ali said, our people think that facts change on the way that we feel. Just because you don't like a fact, it means nothing. It does not change that fact at all. Who cares what you think? Who cares how you feel about it? Your emotions don't mean nothing when it comes to facts. Not a thing. Throw them out the window. Throw them right out the window because they'll hurt you. They will hurt you. They won't allow you to expand and deal from a place of freedom, justice, and equality. So when I hear different groups talking about other groups or speaking in a way that's not factually correct and being so dignified and arrogant in it, right? Being, if you will, stuck on stupid almost. It's like, bruh, what's the real issue? Because we can go and research everything you're saying. We can look into it, bruh, sis. We can really look into it. We can look into it. Um, so I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna let these people who we talking about. Maybe I'll let y'all know them a little bit better than me. I'll let them tell you. They can express it a little bit better than I can. Let me say that. But it started some months ago when KRS-One had some things to say about hip hop history. Right? He was talking about the roots of hip hop, and people had a problem with how he broke it down. So let me just play this for you guys. I'm gonna play this. This started a lot of shit. It was an avalanche because at one point Busta Rhymes started saying things. It got to be crazy. It got to be crazy. Because a lot of people, a lot of hip hop heads, I'm a hip hop head, make no mistake, right? I'm a hip hop head. I love me some hip hop. Native Tongues, De La, Jungle Brothers, um, Tribe Called Quest, Quali, Calm Sense, uh, Most Def, AZ, Nas. These guys helped Royce the 5'9". These guys helped raise me. Just listening to what Tupac, Biggie, listening to what they Too Short, DJ Quick, listen to what they had to say. Um, So, but this is what started this. This was months ago. This is where it all stemmed from.
Today, people want to downplay the Latino role in hip hop. Yep. They are so stupid. Yep. Really? Hip hop would not have existed without specifically Puerto Rican. Specifically, Cubans were here, Haitians were here, Dominican Republic was here, everybody was here. All of South America been in the Bronx, okay? But Puerto Ricans in particular sided with the black folk here, and the Jamaicans were coming in as well. And this group of Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, and American blacks made hip hop. Not American blacks, not Puerto Rican, not Jamaican. All of them made the culture.
So, and you know, that's pretty huge for those of you all who don't know KRS-One. For those of you all who aren't familiar with hip hop and its origins, that's one of the pioneers. That's one of the greatest MCs, right? KRS-One. I love his name. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. Ain't that the truth? Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. That's saying everybody don't submit to the knowledge. Everybody does not, and he's right. So he's a teacher. He's respected within hip hop. He's not respected as just like a hustler, right? He's not respected as just a revolutionary. He is now a hip hop educator. He is a teacher. He goes to different, you see, he was putting a lecture on in that clip, right? He's spoken at colleges, he's spoken at seminars. KRS-One is the man. Very deep, very knowledgeable brother, super knowledgeable. So when he said that, a lot of weight was placed on that. That wasn't taken lightly at all. That was almost taken as gospel. That was taken as gospel. So he said that. And Lord Jamar said this. Lord Jamar was in the Brand Nubian, another one of the greatest hip hop groups ever. You had Lord Jamar, you had Sadat X, you had Grand Poobah. Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down. Slow Down. You had all of these different hits. Don't Let It Go to Your Head. They had a track with Common too. Maybe one day we can work it out. I forget the name of that joint. That shit is live though. But this is what he had to say.
I didn't even post for the last few days. I didn't even put up no receipts for the last few days. But people still coming at me, comments and make little posts trying to, virtual signal. So I'm calling out the major players. Teacher KRS-One, I need you to step to the front of the class and join the cipher. Fat Joe, I need you to step to the front of the class and join the cipher. Crazy Legs, I need you to step to the front of the class and join the cipher. Please come with your evidence, with your whatever you have other than emotions and just talking. We need more than that. We need you to come with your proof, okay?
I'm going to play that again. Lord Jamar is a God. God is a scientist, y'all. God is a scientist. What does that mean? That means you got to show and prove that you're God. You can't just say it. It's more than a notion, right? It's more than just how you feel. It's more than claims, right? He merely said, well, I'll let him say it one more time.
I didn't even post for the last few days. I didn't even put up no receipts for the last few days. But people still coming at me, comments and make little posts trying to, virtual signal. So I'm calling out the major players. Teacher KRS-One, I need you to step to the front of the class and join the cipher. Fat Joe, I need you to step to the front of the class and join the cipher. Crazy Legs, I need you to step to the front of the class and join the site. Please come with your evidence, with your whatever you have other than emotions and just talking. We need more than that. We need you to come with your proof. Okay?
Now, that was still, hold on, that was still just a little bit, right? I want y'all to see, because he's responding to, when he responded to Karis once saying what he said, he had something to say about that, and it was unfavorable. People were like, they were like, nah, Jamar, and you know, to be fair, Jamar gets a bad rap because whoever tells truth or whoever speaks truth that's counter to what people can prove, counter to what people have said, it's not going to sit well, right? You, I tell my children, don't go in the classroom and tell them kids that Santa Claus ain't real. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just keep your mouth closed. Let them believe in the jolly guy coming down the chimney. You and I know that shit is bogus. But don't piss on their parade, because you're gonna find out fast. People would rather have a beautiful, accepted, lengthy lie than a, real quick, short, hard hitting truth. The truth is ain't no Santa Claus. It's your parents going to Target, going to Toys R Us, going to Amazon, buying you gifts and wrapping them when you're not looking. So, but I tell them don't do that. The point is, don't do that, because truth speakers are always going to be uh castigated and ostracized. That's what I'm trying to say. And Lord Jamar uh was one that got castigated. Now, a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people don't really rock with Lord Jamar. I fuck with Lord Jamar heavy, right? Not only because he's a god, but he be telling the truth, man. And he has the onus, the testicular fortitude, the nuts to put himself out there, whether you like him or dislike him. That's a man, ain't it? Who stands on his square. Malcolm told us, I rather deal with I respect the person for their sincerity, whether they're right or wrong. At least they're sincere, right? I respect that about Lord Jamar. Yeah, I respect that about him. But I want to show y'all this. I'm gonna show y'all this real quick, and then I'm gonna get to Fat Joe and let y'all up out of here. Let y'all out. Again, Leave with Logic 7. While I'm pulling this up, y'all mosey on over to leavewithlogic7.com. Check out the gear, check out the merch, get down with the movement. Today's prices, and I think this is Fat Joe. That's Fat Joe who said that. Yesterday's prices are not the same as today's prices. They're not. So let's see. I see you. I see you, LA. Peace, peace. I see you, brother Ghazi. Salam alaikum, big dog. All right. This was earlier. This is not recent. This was earlier. Jamar talking about Joe and Busta and those statements that they made about Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans starting hip hop.
This whole hip hop thing that you got going on, I saw you online challenging KRS, challenging multiple rappers, Busta Rhymes included.
And these all people I love and respect.
Yeah, no,
just to
let's come
put
out
it out there.
Yeah, put it out there. No, it's
even
it's
if they're
not,
mad at me right
it's
now,
not
I
a
still love and
malicious thing.
respect.
I don't think you're coming off as a malicious thing. I think that you're coming off as, I really want to get to what the truth is.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
there you go.
So I feel like that you're challenging them to say, basically, and you clear this up. This is what I'm saying. Hip hop started with black people, black culture. From the beginning, the DNA of hip hop, like we spoke about, the DNA of hip hop is sampling. Sampling, we sampled old jazz records, R&B records, things of that nature.
Disco,
we weren't
funk,
sampling merengue
soul,
and Julio Iglesias, and they weren't sampling
or Yellow Man,
they
or
wasn't
none of that.
sampling Yellow Man for records. the origin of hip hop comes from black people, black music,
Black American youth.
American youth, period. Break dancing, everything. Now, explain to me like how you broke it down. Explain to them like how you broke it down to me, because it made 100% sense.
Well, you just broke it down just now. All I said was what you just said. I didn't say that Puerto Rican people weren't on the scene while this was going on. I didn't say that people of Caribbean lineage weren't some of the first to DJ and all of that. Kool Herc was of Jamaican lineage.
Yeah.
What we're saying is that everything that they were doing was a Black American thing.
The
They had
experience.
to play Black American music. They had to dress like Black Americans.
Oh, okay. I
They
understand.
had to talk like Black Americans.
Okay.
They had to everything like Black Americans.
I'm adding on
and
to
there
you.
was
Yeah. They weren't doing Jamaican culture to get to hip hop. They were using the Black experience to get to hip hop. Ooh.
there is nothing Puerto Rican or Hispanic about hip hop. There are no infused words. You see how we say rap ciphers? That came out of 5% Nation, because the 5% Nation has been in hip hop since its inception. So now we've entered the lexicon, the dialect of hip hop, yet we don't hear words in the lexicon, in the DNA, such as, I don't know, give me any fucking Spanish word, bueno. We don't say no bueno. Like, that's not a thing that we say in hip hop. Like, you know what I mean? We don't say, put your Ross Clot hand in the air.
Yeah.
We don't do none of that. We do, and what the rest of the world follows, and it's not just y'all, the whole world follows what Black America does. We are the progenitors of culture.
Why is there such I don't want to say hunger, but such a drive for everybody to take the responsibility of the genesis of this culture? Not responsibility, the credit. The credit, yes.
And
Why
that is a great question, right? And, I've been saying this a couple times. There's a quote that comes to mind. It says, failure is an orphan.
Success has
many fathers. Okay? But can it really? How many fathers can it really have?
Unlimited.
You see, these are people claiming to be the father.
Yes.
That's why you need a DNA test to prove who's the real father. Okay?
Like Shaquille O'Neal's pops. When it's real pops.
Tell you something?
Yeah.
Success.
Yup.
But failure is a bastard.
Yup.
Well, we were born in the same hospital. We were both born in Albert.
So that was the response from Jamar the first time. That was him the first time. Now he has a podcast as well, the God Pod. I think it's morphed. It's really evolved. It started out with Jamar being on Vlad, right? And Godfrey being on Vlad as well. And somewhere along the line, you start seeing Lord Jamar, Godfrey, and Rod Digger they had their own podcast. And then they broke up. And then it was Godfrey has his own podcast. And then it was Lord Jamar and Rod Digger. Now it's just Lord Jamar and Godfrey has his own podcast. But I'm going to pull this one up. So we can actually hear what Fat Joe had to say. Because I got to find it because they okay, here we go. Here we go. There we go. Let's look and see. but it's bigger than hip hop. In the words of my brother Dead Prez, M1 Stick Man. If y'all haven't heard that song, it's bigger than hip hop. It's bigger than hip hop. What's going on, y'all? It's again, it's that undergird of cultures, right? That will cause us to now misinterpret facts.
Shorty wanna blow me, then grow me. She told me that I gotta keep it low key.
Years. And the shit just go. You believe Fat Joe said hip hop was Puerto Rican and black? Whoa! My God, the world changed on me, nigga. I'm like, yo,
You know what?
where you been?
Let's get into that, because I think people outside of New York, it's hard for them to understand. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Trinidadians, Jamaicans, Guyanese.
First of all, let's start by this.
Barbadians,
Let's
just
start by
all
this.
around each other.
Let's start by this. These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that. Okay, it's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't down with them.
Right.
Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't Black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say their name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And that shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leader? Yo, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So one thing I say is this. I'll stop. I'm gonna let Joe finish. I'm gonna finish the clip. It's not that people can't understand, because Lord Jamar is from New York. That's why I wanted to play him, right? He's from New York. I could have played Grandmaster Kaz. He said something. He went back and forth about it. It has nothing to do with where you're from. Your understanding really doesn't. Where you're from doesn't dictate or determine your level of understanding. It doesn't, on whatever topic. And I'm not a follower of the FBA. I think maybe the leader that he's talking about is Tariq Nasheed, because Tariq Nasheed has been affiliated with him. He's come out and said he's not the FBA leader, though. But again, a lot of it. That's why I mentioned having run-ins. That's why I mentioned miscommunication. That's why I mentioned the undergird. See, when that barrier exists within cultures, whether it's African American and African, African Latino or Caribbean or wherever, and continental African, there can be a clash. There can be an undergird of disrespect, discontent, and it manifests itself in ways like this, where we get these broad explanations and these broad statements. Because what happens is, and again, I'm not co-signing anything that the FBA does, because I'm an original man. Let me say that. I'm an original melanated man. The earth is my turf, right? The universe is my home, right? So I don't condone everything that they do, but I understand some of their frustrations. I do, because I've experienced them myself, right? That doesn't mean that I paint everybody with a broad brush in that way, if y'all understand what I'm saying. But I get it. When people are now disrespectful, or when you welcome people, and it's not to say it's all people who come into the culture, it's not. But when you now welcome people and then things happen that are counter to or disheartening, that happen against us, then there are those of us who aren't as civilized who are going to act out. Right? That's what you see. That's what you're gonna see. And I'm not saying all of FBA is uncivilized, but I'm saying in every group, in every organization, in every mass, in every collective, you're gonna have factions, and those factions are going to respond to disrespect, discomfort, disloyalty different. And the FBA is no different. Again, I'm not condoning it, but I understand a lot of their concerns or their angst or their frustrations, how they're being verbal about. I think they call people who are going against Afro Americans tethers, right? Because a tether is just simply you're teetering the line. You're not too far left, you're not too far right. That's what a tether is. A tether is a person who, when it's convenient to immerse and to claim one culture, they will. But as soon as it's not anymore, they put away. In fact, they blast it and criticize it. But no, New York people from all over the country understand the politics. People understand the subculture and subpolitics of what's going on. It's not that difficult.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity doop wop. Yo, bro. Far as I know, we're at Yankee Stadium right now, and it's hip hop's 50th birthday. And the guy who invented it, Grandmaster Flash, my brother carried his crates. My babysitters made up let me hear you say ho. It's two girls, twins, used to babysit me. They made up, let me hear you say ho. So they have a big problem, these guys, right? So they're against anybody who ain't with them. So this ain't a popular message. This ain't what everybody's saying. We might be giving them too much light right here is what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
So there's a small minority to get on them Twitters and they running it up. We got a fucking Looney Tune like your man Lord Jamal, who's a fucking Looney Tune. Okay, he's a loony bin, right?
Hey, I'm gonna stop. That's perfect. I'm gonna stop sharing it right there. He said he's a Looney Tune. So yeah, you have this instance. Now, why is that relevant? Why would I mention something like that? Because we see little inklings of that in interactions that we have with people who are from different parts and various parts of the diaspora, right? Every culture has its own staple personality, right? Jamaicans, Ghanaians, Puerto Ricans, all of these people. The truth, brothers and sisters, that these are all original people. Did you know that? These are all people from the melanated family. Yes. The only difference is our cultures, how we interpret and engage our cultures, where we were dropped off at, and how the colonizer oppressed us, right? In America, we were in the cotton fields. In Jamaica, you were in the sugarcane fields, right? Haiti was the first melanated nation to beat a European nation, but they were economically enslaved for years, so much to the degree that they're still suffering to this day, right? On the continent of Africa, a lot of those nations are baby nations, and a lot of them drew from the 60s and 70s where they saw their cousins across the pond and how we fought and how we battled. Black and Proud, the Negritude movement over in France was motivated by the Black Renaissance over in Harlem, right? So what am I saying? All of this stuff about us beefing, us having this cultural communications barrier, it's nonsense. It's bullshit. We should get off of it. But now, again, when we're talking about science, when we're talking about showing and proving, brothers and sisters, make no mistake, when you make a claim, you better be able to back your claim up with facts, not feelings. We don't give a shit who was there. We don't care who was who to you. What can you prove? Prove it, brothers and sisters. That's the only thing we concerned with. That's it. Dr. Ali Muhammad said something that's so beautiful. I love it. He said, see, the thing is, you can attack me, but you cannot sustain the attack when the truth comes. All you can do is just dance around it. That's it. So, yeah, we have to clean that up, y'all. We have to come together as original people and, you know, deal in facts, right? Deal in science, deal in high mathematics, deal in love. And most of all, we have to lead with logic. But yeah, man, another Lead with Logic session. Again, leadwithlogic7.com. Leadwithlogic7.com. I got these beautiful hats. I got white, I got the hoodies, I got the tees, all that good stuff. It's not too late. It's never too late. Never too late, never too. No, it's never too much. I'm tripping. Yeah, man, I just wanted to come on here, man, and speak to the people. Hopefully you guys are having a great, great, great uh great, great, great God said the first one, it was one in pre-colonial times to defeat him. Hey, big brother, show and prove. I would just say show and prove it. Yeah, that's all I would say. Show and prove. Which nations are you speaking of? That's what I would tell you, black man. Show and prove. You know, they were the one, Haiti was the one that, you know, I don't know of any others before Haiti. And that was a collective, y'all. That wasn't just Haitians. That was Jamaicans. That was everybody. Some of everybody was in that battle. It was Toussaint Louverture, Dessalines, Boukman, you know, because it was a slave port, right? Haiti was a slave port, so you know when they traveled, they would take the slaves to different places, different ports. But hey, big brother, I would say just show and prove. State them sources, brother Gazi. Give us what you got. Yeah, give us what you got, brother. That's all. That's all I would tell you. That's all I would tell you. But listen, hey man, I'm gonna get off of here, man. I hope hopefully you guys have a most positive, productive, and most of all, peaceful rest of your week. Don't eat too much holiday ham, glazed ham, turkey, whatever it is, because you are what you eat. You know, if you eat 3 meals a day, try to eat two. If you eat two, try to eat one. If you eat one, try to eat one every other day. This will extend and lengthen your life. This will make you the God of yourself, right? It will add on. It won't just make you the God of yourself, not that alone, but it will absolutely add to your divinity, and it will beautify you. You will look very nice. You will age in reverse, right? So yeah. But listen, man. As always, this is Brother Lee. Man, we all meet again in the light of understanding. And look, always, always, always lead with